What up, though, everybody? This is Angie with Detroit's Flavor. So today, I'm going to talk about something that's very personal to me and do a story time about when I realized I was in a abusive relationship. I know that's a very touchy subject, and there is many forms of abuse, but I'm going to talk about my personal story and when I realized that I was actually in an abusive relationship. And I actually couldn't even believe this had happened to me because I'm a strong woman. I'm independent. I don't let nobody just talk to me any kind of way. I don't take no stuff off nobody. But unfortunately, sometimes we're blinded and we don't know, that we've walked into something that we are utterly not understanding of and that we're against. But yet, you find yourself in that place and you wake up and you're like, wait a minute. This is actually happening to me. So, in the beginning, of course, everything was great. It's perfect. I had this image in my head of what I wanted to have for my future, and also make up for what I didn't have growing up. All the things that every girl wants, to meet someone, get married, have a baby, the white picket fence type of stuff. So things were leading into that direction. And unfortunately, when you find yourself on different accords, that's when you start to realize, maybe this is not going in the direction I wanted to go into, but let me work with it. Let me try to work it out. Let me see what I can do as a woman to make things right, because women, we're fixers. So I'm going to talk to you about one of the lowest points in my life when I realized it. Just give me a moment, but I'm going to talk about it. So one day, I was out just at a club, a bar, I can't remember exactly, and was out with some friends, drinking, eating, having a great time. Hadn't seen my friends in a while because I lost myself pretty much. I had invested so much into my relationship and my child that I didn't realize that, hey, remember, you're still an individual. You still have friends. You still have a social life. You still have, things you want to do as a woman. And I had neglected those things. So my friends saw me and, they act like everything was normal. Like, hey, girl, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. We haven't seen you in a while. Let's catch up. And, things felt normal to me. But in the eyes of my friends, they were looking at me, kind of giving me the side eye, like, what's going on with her? She's not herself. She don't look like herself. She definitely not acting like herself. But we're going to pretend everything is perfect. So as the night went along, everything was going great. And, of course, at the end of the night, we said our goodbyes. We're going to get together again. We're going to see each other, blah, blah, blah. So I get in my car, get ready to go home. I did have work earlier that day. But I thought, you know what? I need a little de-stressor. Let me just go hang out with my friends for a few hours and everything's good. Well, I got home. And of course, this individual was waiting for me. And it had just become routine that when I got home, I already knew, like, okay, it's about to be some mess. Like, I could do everything right. I could get home, clean, cook, do everything, laundry, picture perfect, and nothing was ever great. But I got so used to it, and I became so immune to this that I didn't even second guess anything. I'm just like, whatever, I'm just going to keep it moving. I got home, and of course, I was confronted about what I didn't do and what I was doing while I was out. And every day was accusation, something new. If I was going to college, I was screwing my professor. If I'm at work, I'm screwing my boss at work. If I go out, I'm screwing some guy in the streets. That's just how it was. And I became used to it. I get home and, I'm trying to just make peace. And of course, this confrontation comes to me as usual. And I try to ignore it. And there he goes. It had turned me into somebody I didn't want to become. I didn't grow up in a household where you were greeted like that. You know, when you came home, you were greeted properly and with love and, you know, welcoming type of environment. But this individual wasn't used to that. So, and of course, argument started. My kid was there, but he was small. He was probably asleep at the time, I'm hoping. And it just went from there and it escalated. And when it escalated, it wasn't so much more of a physical thing. It was more verbal. That's why it's so hard sometimes to kind of pinpoint abuse, because it comes in many forms. And verbal abuse is probably just as worse as physical, because it's lasting words. And sometimes words hurt more than hits. But, you know, either way it goes, it's still abuse. And I would remember going through this situation and just listening to what the words he was saying to me. And I'm thinking to myself, why are you here? How did you get here? And I'm not innocent. Of course, I got a mouth on me. I have an attitude. I'm not that one. But why is this person bringing this out of you? If you're on the same team and this is your partner, this is your lover, you know. But again, I got so used to it. So again, I didn't see my friends in so long. I mean, I was like, you know what? I don't even care. I'm just avoiding this situation altogether. So I ended up reaching out to one of my friends I hadn't seen in a while, which I saw early part of that night. And I'm like, I just broke down. And sometimes it's good to see friends, because when you isolate yourself, you don't know and you don't feel like you can talk to people, because they're going to judge you and make their own assumptions about why you are going through what you're going through. So I vented and I told her, you know, what happened. And no, people's words sometimes will make you change your mind, but it can bring up something to you that can make you realize, okay, this is something that I need to talk to somebody about, because I'm afraid of looking weak. I'm afraid of looking vulnerable. I'm afraid of being exposed, that I'm going through this. And I talked to her and she was there for me. She was like, I don't care how long it's been I haven't seen you, but you're my friend. Looking at you tonight, honestly, I didn't even recognize you. That's not the person I know. And that hurt my feelings so bad. And then I looked in the mirror at myself and I didn't know myself anymore. I had lost myself in this relationship because I had allowed this person to control me, manipulate me, and talk down to me so long that I became what he said. Fat, ugly, just person I mean, that he called me out of my name. And I just became what he said. Not so much physically, but also internally I was changing. And it was just constant verbal bashing that took over me. And my appearance didn't even look the same as before. And I realized, I look back to some pictures days after that, I'm like, that's not me. Wow, I have changed. I have transformed. You know, I believe it was depression kicking in and not realizing that I was in a situation, but it took something that simple to happen for me to have an awakening. And I started to be more open about it and talk to my friends about it and talk to people around me about it, because I needed to vent, I needed to let go, I needed to get somebody's opinion. And, you know, I don't condone abuse, and I'm not a person that's an abuser. So I would, you know, defend myself. So that's where the arguments would escalate, and it became more and more of a heavy weight on me, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get out of it, because I became so engulfed. And from that point on, I realized, like, me going to school should not be a problem for this person if they want better for me. Me going to work, you know, making money and doing what I need to do to take care of my family shouldn't be an issue. So I started questioning everything at that point. Sometimes when you become so engulfed in a relationship, in a situation, you don't even realize what you're going through. And it could take someone to say something. And it's not about physical appearance. It's just you and your presence as a person. What you've become is opposite of what you were. And people sometimes don't get to see you as much as they had seen you before, because you're afraid, you're embarrassed. And a few times I've been embarrassed by this person. I mean, it was brought to my attention that that's not That's not normal. Like, that's not okay. But I made excuses about it, and I'm like, look, it's just, he had a bad day. I'm sorry. Just don't tell nobody about it. But from there, it took that one situation and many others, but it was just like an awakening for me to realize that you're in an abusive relationship. And it went from verbal, and it started escalating to physical, where I became physical at times because I just couldn't take it anymore. And at times he became physical as well. So I had to pull myself to the side and realize, you know, this isn't going to work out. You had good intentions, you want the best for your child, but it's not going to work out, and you cannot go through this. I never thought in a day in my life that would happen to me. There were many signs, red flags, things leading to it that I ignored because I just wanted to give and make something happen for my life that I felt was right for me, would make me happy. But there I was. And one day I picked myself up. I got some outside help as well. Friends, professional help, God, all together, and I was able to walk away. I woke up one morning, I was like, you're better than this, and you deserve more, and there's more out there. Don't be afraid. You have a child, but that does not make you an outsider. You just move on with your life, pick up, and do better. And that's what I did. Now, to this day, it's a little difficult for me dating, but at the same time, I am open, but I am very, very, very selective. And I'm telling you, it was a blessing and it was a curse, but it also opened my eyes to so many different things in life. And, you know, not many people can realize that they're in a situation like this and before it's too late. But I was able to, and I know that anybody out there in a situation like that can. It's just, you got to pick yourself up from the bottom, dust yourself off, and keep it moving. It's easy to say I know, but if I can do it, you can do it. So, in essence of this story, I share it with you. I greatly hope that this story helps somebody, and that, you know, you can seek outside help if you need it, or, you know, from your family, your friends, professional wise. But it is not easy, and it is something personal that a lot of people don't want to share, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you must get help because it can lead to other things and even death in some cases. So I hope that this enlightens somebody and touches someone, and that you definitely can find a way out of a situation like that before it's too late. Well, that's the end of my story time. Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the post notification to Detroit's Flavor. We really appreciate your support. Thank y'all.